Hi everybody, welcome to day 22 of my 25 Days of Christmas series. Before you, you see a set of 6 coaster molds. Of course, it is not a traditional Christmas mold, and I am okay with that because my plans are to make it Christmas. And I wanted these deep coaster molds because I'm using 2 to 3 different types of resin in here. And the reason for that is cost and supply. So I plan on filling just 3 of these with a layer of resin-crete and a layer of polyurethane and possibly a layer of epoxy. It's just going to depend on how thick my layers get between the resin-crete and the polyurethane resin, on whether I use the epoxy or not. So each one is going to get a tree. One is going to get a green. One is going to get a gold. And one will get a silver. And each one will get a stag. 2 stags, actually. What would be known as the male stag, which is this little guy right here. See if I can get him closer and still keep it focused. And then the other one that's known as a female stag, which is this one right here. Notice the antlers are not as pronounced. So I'm going to close those back up until I get the first layer poured. And the idea is to try to set these things in the poly. So I'm going to put you on pause and I'm going to get some resin-crete mixed up for the first layer. Alright, I have 100 grams in this cup here of the resin-crete. I will stir in 35 grams of the poly, or the water. Alright, and then of course we know it sets quick, so I will move it up here real fast, get it stirred, get all the chunkies, get it creamy as much as possible. I'm going to do this in a paper cup because the last time I used it in my plastic one, it didn't want to come out so easily, and my husband spent a couple of hours actually cleaning it out for me, so I figure it's getting past its slick stage. I do have a larger silicone one, but it's much, much larger, and so much more than necessary for this job. So I will fill, I'm sure that's going to take this whole 100 grams plus the 35 grams to do just the one level of each one of these. So I will refill this 2 more times. Alright, we're going to start with this one here. Okay, that's about the level I want, so this one here gets some more. That was already beginning to try to set in there. Scrape out the remainder. So it looks like maybe just one more fill of this. I'll still use the same cup. This stuff sets quickly, so I'm going to put you on pause and get the rest made up and poured. I didn't quite get them exact level, but they're very close. So now is just the wait time to watch it cure. So I'm not going to put us all through that, because the next step is the poly. And that is going to be a task to try to get just the correct amount in there and get each item stood and safely stood. I don't want them tipping over. My goal is to try to cover that wood base. Alright, so I'm going to pause you and wait for this to cure so I can put the poly on top. Now these are cured enough to demold, but I don't know that they are dry enough. They feel slightly damp. So I'm going to turn my heat mat on and cure them a little faster that way to just remove the moisture content as much as possible. So I'll be back in a few. Okay, everybody, that cured. It dried out as much as I can allow it at this time. I, of course, like I said, did not want to risk any moisture being trapped with the poly going in. I have 80A and 80B. Well, A's over here. This is B. So I'm going to pour the B in first. It is getting old, and you can see it in the cloudiness and yellowing of the B. Get out as much as I can. It will still turn white, so I'm not worried about that. Now I'm going to leave that sit there for a moment because I need to tack the trees down. And I'm going to do that with some UV resin. Not a whole lot, because if it gets in between the tree stump and the resincrete, it will not harden. So I'm just going to put a little drop of UV. I'm going to set these to the side so I do not hit them and knock them over. I do have to rush a little bit because those paper cups don't last long with moisture in them. So I'm going to get these things cleared out of my way. I don't want that on me. Get this cleaned off. Okay, get my resin out. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit right here on my mat. so that I can just get a smidgen of it on there. I'll put that there. Let's grab a stick. Grab up just that little itty bitty bit. And all I'm going to do is put it at the base of the tree. I have the tree where I want it to be. Whoops. Oh well, close enough now. I want it tacked enough so it won't move when the poly goes in. Do each one real quick. And I do want it fully cured. I do not want it partially cured. I already have my stags laid out. Now I have enough poly that it should cover the bases of the trees. And then I'll have to wait for that to cure before I can add the stags. Okay, that should be cured. Let's get some more. Go to the next tree. Oh, for Pete's sake. We want to keep moving it, don't we? Trying to avoid the stags and not disturb the tree too much. This is one of the things I've been wanting to do all the way through this series, and so I figured the 22nd day, the 22nd video, I'd had enough waiting, and it was going to be a Christmas one, specifically for Christmas, but there's been other plans now. So I thought today, just do it today. And I don't want it to break free from either the resin-crete or the tree. Whoops. Keep wanting to hit that like I do my other flashlight. It's got so many different settings. My other one is not, of course, a UV light. It's a regular flashlight. And of course I cannot hold steady for anything on this planet. Especially when I know I've got to hurry up and get that poly mixed and poured. I am trying my best to make sure that this video doesn't go too long. Because I do not want to have to stop recording right now and then begin another recording to have the process sped up. It's just too much editing doing it that way. Very time consuming. And after this one, there are 3 more to go. Alright, hopefully that is cured all the way. And I'm going to get this little area here cleared up real quick so that I can get the poly over here and get it poured quickly and as evenly as possible and still cover the bottoms of those trees. I do have my little orb here to pour any leftover poly into. So let's get this going. A over there, B here. Scrape quickly. Get what we can out fast. Get it mixed quickly. Watch my time. I can feel when it starts warming, and that's the quickest pour on the planet. Alright, here we go. Okay, the rest goes in the little pot here. At least there wasn't as much as I thought to be left over, so now because the cup is hot, I don't put it in the garbage right away. I set it to the side. I let it cure too. Let's get this little orb away. Now, idealistically, it would be absolutely fabulous to be able to sit these in there, but since they're white, they'll disappear against the poly white. And that is why I left enough on the top for a little bit of poly to be added the next time around. It is curing. I can see it begin. But I'm not going to put you through all of that on the wait time, so I'm pausing you. This one over here, I might have gotten a little, and that one there might be a little too much poly. It is getting a reaction of flash cure. So I'm going to hope for the best right now. And I do have water just in case. It is bubbling. Here, I'll try to move this so you can see a little bit of that reaction and get this brought up to you. You'll notice it right here on the side. And there are 2 parts there and there. The other one, remember, it wasn't in need of a lot of poly because the resin-crete was fuller in that side. This one had the least amount of resin-crete, and then that one in between the 2. Now it is going to create a bubble pocket there. And there's not a whole lot I can do about that at this point. We have got the basic crust on top now. So I'm just going to go with it because, you know, there's snow drifts and things like that. So I will go with it. All right, I'm going to pause you while that finishes curing. And I'll bring you back. All right, the exothermal reaction stopped. It is hardening. I'm going to give it another 45 minutes to harden. So I'll be back soon. Okay, I couldn't find anything to build a mound with, so I'm going to use the polyurethane in these 3 mixing cups. So these 3 down here are going to get approximately 20 ml each. So I have 3 different cups for A, 3 different cups for B over here. I'm going to fill them with a pipette so that I can get the accurate amounts. I have some I poured into a cup already. I need to turn these to where I can see the markings. And I'm only going to go to 10 ml in each one for A, and then 10 ml in each one for B. And this way I can mix them a lot faster, get them to set a lot quicker. Well, look at that, I finally made it to 5 ml. But I wanted to pop on here and let you know what I'm doing. Now I've got to raise it up where I can see that 10 ml mark. It is a slow way of doing things, but it's more accurate. Okay, there's one at 10 ml. Now I'm going to go ahead and put you on pause while I finish filling these before I mix them. I'll bring you back. Alright, I've got B over here. I have A over here on the right. I am now just going to dump them into each other and stir them. Get my little stir stick. I'll set that one to the side for a moment. Get this stirred up real fast. I'm using a larger stick so I can stir faster. Trying not to splash. Scraping a little bit. Okay. Pot 1. Okay, that's about as far as I'm going to go with that, so I may not be able to use it all. Well, how about that? I do have to mix one more set. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this one and this one here together real fast. Leftovers will go into my other pot there. Let's get that set down and get this stirred real quick. So I will go ahead and mix the other one. We'll just dump it in the pot. This one's a lot harder to scrape. For some reason I ended up grabbing the wrong mixing cup. So I hope this one does well, but we'll see. Oops, a little bit of splash there. I'll have to clean that up. Up, another little bit of splash there. That's why I hate these with the ridges on the inside. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's as far as that one can go. Let's get that other pot here. Dump this in. So I think I'm done with this pot, or the mixing cup, measuring cup thing, because it's the one with the ridges. I can't stand them whatsoever. So it just goes in the trash. I'm going to hurry up and mix this one now. I have gooey hands everywhere, so they're going to have to be cleaned inside and out. Yep, I used the wrong cup with this one too. That just means I get to toss those away. I don't know how I grabbed these. Not paying attention. Okay, let's get this mixed up. First two pots are turning white. Alright, that one's dumped into my little catch-all pot now. Now that's all that's needed is the cleanup and wait for it to cure. So I guess I'll pause you here and do that. Alright, these are now cured. So I'm going to pull them out. And check for any ridges that need to be filed down. That one doesn't have any. However, there is an unlevel surface with the bubbles on this. A little warping. Don't know what's going on there. I will be gluing each one of these down with this B7000 that I got from Temu. It is a crafting glue, and so I'm just going to put a larger dollop down. It's a little harder to do one-handed. I don't want it to go anywhere. Once it's down, it's going to have to be down. Alright. And then I'm just going to place this on top towards the tree, like that. Squish, and let it fill in. Now I'm going to close this up real fast so I can demold the others. Check them thoroughly. Okay, that one's good. And this one cured awfully odd. They were all mixed the same way. Same resin. Well, polyurethane resin. That one did unfortunately have a drip down the side, so let me get rid of that real fast. I'm just going to use this to get it down. Got to come down just a little bit more. Okay, that should do it. They are hard, so I don't know what's wrong with this one, why it got discolored. But as long as it's hard, that's all I care about. Okay, let's get the glue set up for each of these. So difficult. Such a tiny little spout to come out of. Okay, let's get some on this one. Just determining where to put it. Okay, that's enough for those. Get this closed back up again. Yep, I could drive that little pin. There we go. Now we're just going to go ahead, stick it down. And same with this one. Okay, the next I'm going to do is put a dab of that same glue on each hoof of each deer, and the male is each male deer, the males are going up on the stands, the mounds, and the females are going to go just below them. So I will show you on the first one. And these are very delicate, so you've got to be very careful with them. And we're just going to put a little dab on each one. Try to get any stringy strands off. I will have to set him down for just a moment. Get him positioned. And he seems to be doing well there. Let's get this one positioned. I think he's pretty good right there. Okay, get the third one in position. Then I'll have to leave for a little while and let these glues set. Okay. Now to determine which position I want each of the dough to do. I think that one possibly like that. This one facing about the same direction towards the male stag. And this one, yeah, I think that'll do. So let me go ahead, get the glue on the bottom of their feet. Okay. This glue does dry clear. And it definitely has a stench to it, but don't they all? Just trying to get the errant strands. Okay, let me wipe this tip off. Okay, the only thing left for me to do right now is to allow those to cure up. So I'm going to put you back on pause and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to risk this a little bit because time is getting very short to get this uploaded. So I'm going to go ahead and unmold them. Please forgive the dog noises that are going to be coming in. I have to be very careful as to not dislodge those deer. But here's this one so far. I will take pictures of them and add them to the video. So that'll put more time for me before I can get it uploaded, but that's the best I'm going to be able to do. It is still a little damp underneath. And it seems as if the poly made its way underneath, on that one at least, of the resin-crete. Well, maybe I should unmold the one on the end first. That way I can have a little bit more leeway while unmolding the middle one. It got under here too. So it sealed the resin-crete in. It looks pretty good too. Impressed. Those trees are not sealed all the way, so I will probably get some clear varnish to seal everything once everything is done. There we go. Okay, let's get the mold out of the way. It did it with all three of them. So I'm impressed with that. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to take some of my homemade Mod Podge. It is a watered down version of glue with a little bit of satin varnish in it. It does not dry clearly because of the satin varnish. So all I'm doing is spreading this around. I want a fair amount on each one. All the way to the edges. Up under the two trees that the wooden base didn't get covered all the way. This glue has a good purpose too. Now these deer are not, oops, got it on his antler, are not settled all the way. So I'm really trying to be very extremely careful with them. And this is the purpose for putting the Mod Podge stuff down, my own version of it. Because what winter scene is any good without some snow? This is fake snow stuff, of course. Some of these pieces are a little extra large for this purpose. And I'm just going to put a whole bunch down and then push it down on, and whatever sticks, sticks. I'll unbury the dough later after I get all of this covered up. Gotta be very careful. I think I pulled him loose a little bit. Hope I didn't break his leg. Alright, that one is set where it can dry. I'll pull some of this away from it. and set it further back so I can get another one done. I am quite impressed. Now, that mold is really strange. I have found that it has a problem of being warped. These are not completely flat on the bottom, so I'm having to work with that. Let's get a whole bunch of this just sprinkled all over the place. Let's get it spread. I should have put this on my turntable. Would have turned out better. Alright, I think we can sprinkle some on there now. We'll start with this stuff. The dogs are getting fed. Get it turned just a little so I can see better. Get some of that pushed down. Whoa! Push that up around the stag. I know it's kind of hard to see the deer in this now. But I will take really good pictures of them. And add them to the end of the video. And depending on how quickly this glue dries, will depend on how fast I can get to editing and how fast I can get it uploaded. So it may not be uploaded until sometime later than 1 o'clock in the morning. But I don't bother to press myself like that anymore on a, you know, an extreme, on an extreme deadline. As long as it's up the day I know that I need it up, which is always a day ahead of the actual day. Except for the Christmas video itself, it may be uploaded on Christmas Day. It probably will be. Because I will be busy cooking Christmas dinner. I still end up cooking for 1 billion people. It's just what I do, I guess. I've never learned to make it any different. And so we eat leftovers for about 3 days. And what's not going to be eaten up in 3 days gets frozen before that end of that 3 days. So we portion everything out and put it in the freezer. It does make life a little bit simpler. Especially when there's just 2 people in the house. But we do share our Christmas dinner with our fur babies, just like we do our Thanksgiving dinners. Okay, I think I've got it as covered as I'm going to be able to get it. And so I'm going to let you go and let this get dry, not cure. Alright everyone, they're not completely dry yet, but they are dry enough, and they've already had all the excess knocked off of them. And I did take pictures, but I wanted to go ahead and show you on camera what they look like. And then that's where you can see where the joining of both the resin creep that's at the bottom and the polyurethane, which is at the top. Oops, I got some glue dripping off. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, that's the gold tree. I'm going to place it back there, get my hand wiped off. Thank my assistant for grabbing that for me. Let's get this wiped up. This one wiped off the front here. This plastics stuff that they use for fake snow is so horribly static. Alright, let's get the silver one up. And I'm sure I'll lose some off the back as well when I tilt it, but there's that one. I think it looks fantastic. And then the green tree. I'm trying not to drop it, honest. There, it focused in. So that is day 22 done. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, Hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. And, of course, hit the notification bell for being notified of future videos. We still have 3 days of videos coming for Christmas. I would like to thank all my subscribers. I've had a few leave, I've had a few come in, and I think I'm at that par for right now, I guess. It's been only 8 months since I started this channel. Others have started their channel also within that time period. And we're all doing our best to grab your attention. Hopefully you'll find something that you like in some of these crafting videos. And subscribe if you haven't. So also put something in the comments down below. That helps us. Then we know what we're doing that you like or don't like, etc. You know, feedback helps like crazy. Also, you know, share is getting around and, you know, getting people involved and interested in things they may not even have thought they were interested in. So, alright everybody, I'm going to end this video now and say, well, I forgot the thumbs up. There's a thumbs up. But peace out everybody. Merry Christmas.